Welcome! Today we're going to be making this banner with the Howl-O-Ween stamp set from Stampin' Up. We're going to begin by making our banner pendants with wild wasabi paper, rich razzleberry, and tangerine tango cardstock. We are going to find the center of the paper and cut up 1 inch. And I like to make my banners by cutting the corner to the top of the center slip. And there you go. I got a banner pendant. Now I'm going to use the 1/16 hole punch to punch the holes in the corners so that it can be hung up. After that's done to all of the pieces, we're going to adhere the spider doilies, and I'm going to adhere them with some dimensionals and just center them onto each of the pendants. Now for 3 of the pendants I wanted to add a little more interest with some different colors, so I used my 2-inch punch and punched out 2 circles and I cut a rectangle out of wild wasabi paper. Then I inked up the edges just to add a little bit more depth and interest to them and kind of made it look a little more spooky. And so I inked each of the edges. For the green wild wasabi rectangle, I turned that into a banner, a smaller banner, and I inked up the edges of the banner all over, just adding a little bit more depth and spookiness, I guess, to it. Kind of looks distressed in a way. So after that was done, I stamped my images with the Howl-O-Ween stamp set with tuxedo black ink on whisper white paper, and I put all my images onto 1 sheet of paper so that I could use the Boo to You die set and die cut them all at once. Now I line up the die with the images and I held them in place with some old washi tape. And there I have all of the images. The pumpkin pail is in Tangerine Tango, and the magic wand in Daffodil Delight ink, and the little star in Daffodil will be Daffodil Delight cardstock. And I can put them all through the die cutter all at once. Now I added a little shimmery boo to one of the banners by using black shimmer paper and the Boo die cut. So on one of the banners I will be putting the sentiment of trick or treat, so I stamped it with Tangerine Tango ink and I cut around it kind of randomly using wavy lines, so I guess it looks like a piece of paper, like it was ripped out of something, but I inked the edges with some tuxedo black ink to give it some more dimension and just kind of a distressed kind of look to it. And now we're ready to put our banner pendants together. So I use lots of dimensionals on this. I just want it to look, just kind of pop out a bit and have lots of dimension, and it just gives it more interest, I think. So I find the center of my banner and I put my trick or treat, and I also put a dimensional on this little spider so he can kind of hang on to there. I used Daffodil Delight marker and colored in the eyes and mouth of the pail, and I also added the Daffodil Delight's cardstock star onto the magic wand. Now these guys needed a little more interest, so I added some googly eyes to the owl that just fit perfectly, and he looks adorable with them. And the skull needed a little more, so I punched out some holes from the black glimmer paper and gave him some eyeballs, some shiny eyeballs, and glued the bones together. Now I'm going to put the owl onto one of my banner pendants with dimensionals again. And I just centered him on there, and I thought he needed the pail, so I glued the pail onto his wing so he's holding on to it. And for the skeleton, to add a little bit more interest and color, I put the rich raspberry 2-inch circle on there and just centered it, and then used a dimensional to attach the skull. And for the bones, I cut a dimensional in half and just attached them crisscross right underneath the skull. And the hat, I wanted to make it really colorful, so I used a blender pen and Tangerine Tango ink, and I just grabbed the ink off of the ink pad and colored each of the stars on the hat. And for the band, I wanted something a little different, so I stamped the hat again onto rich raspberry paper, and I cut out only the band part, just so it just makes it a little bit more interesting when it's glued onto the hat, and it looks a little bit better than just coloring in with rich raspberry marker or something. It just makes it look different, I guess. That's what I wanted to do. So I glued it on with just my Tombow glue and centered it and made sure it fit just right. And there it is. So now we'll put that hat on the pennant banner, and I used the Tangerine Tango 2-inch circle and I centered it onto my pennant. I thought it looked kind of like the moon in a way behind the hat, so I just centered the hat onto it. It just made it a little bit more interesting and colorful. And I combined the magic wand, because with the hat I thought the magic wand should be there. And so on my next pennant, I put some dimensionals on the small wild wasabi pennant, centered that, and then used some multi-purpose glue to glue the black shimmery boo, and I just glued it on kind of sideways. It's kind of fun. And now we're ready to put it all together, and I used black baker's twine to attach each of the pennants on there to create the banner. And this is what it looks like when it's all finished. Thanks for watching, everyone. For a list of the supplies I used in this video, follow the link in the description below. Thanks. Bye.